Thank you. And now we are going to do broken squares. So we need groups of 5 people, each at a table, or you can sit on the floor. Each person needs some workspace in front of you, but you need to be able to reach each other. hmm Okay. Each person has an envelope in front of you. Please don't open it until I finish the instructions. Okay. The goal here is, and you need to listen to the goal. I want you to work together to form 5 squares. They're 6-inch squares, all of equal size. So 6-inch squares are about this size, and a square, each side is the same length. It's not a rectangle. It's not longer on one side and shorter on the other. Each side is the same length, and they're each about 6 inches. And there should be 5 squares, one for each person. And that's what you're working towards. Okay? Um, there's a few rules. One is there's no speaking and no sign language. So no you know, you know, no sign language, no speaking. And you can only give pieces. You cannot take or ask. You can't be like, that one, give it to me. No, you can't ask or take pieces. You can only give pieces. And you can give some or all of your pieces away. All right? No talking or sign language. You can give, but you can't ask or take. And when you give, you have to put it in someone else's hand. You don't wave it around like who wants it. You don't throw it in the middle and let anybody take it. You don't just push it away from you. You actually have to take the piece and hand it to somebody. Okay? Um, and when you're finished, if you could just be quiet for, you're going to want to cheer and be very happy, but the other group is still working. So when you finish, just like cheer really quiet, yay, and try to keep it quiet, um, so that the other group can finish. Just be respectful of one another. All right. I want you to remember the goal again. And as you're doing this, a lot of a lot of people carry a lot of school trauma with you, a lot of performance anxiety. That is one of the hallmarks of a culture of oppression and privilege. And so as we are working for more justice, the thing to practice here is when your performance anxiety or any kind of tension or like you start shutting down, remember to ground yourself. So let's just do a grounding right now. Just talking about that is like, let's look at our core selves. Let's breathe. Let's get our eyes really big. Look at the horizon. Notice a color in the room. Look at each other. Before you get started, look at your friends. Remember, the goal is to work together. So if you ever lose track of your friends, if you get down here working, look up and look at your friends. Smile. Okay? Have fun. Work together to make 5 squares, all of equal size. All right? Go. So, tips to facilitators as they're going, different facilitators should be watching different groups. What I am looking for is somebody who puts their square together really fast. They've got certain skills that help them do that. And when they do that, they feel like they're done, like they're frozen. They don't know what to do. And as soon as I see that, I give it a few minutes to see if they're going to make a change themselves. And if they don't, I go up to them directly or just generally in their direction. I say, remember the goal is to make 5 squares, not one. If you have one square, that's not the goal. The goal is 5 squares. And remember, you can give some or all of your pieces away. Often, they still sit there. Their mind is so focused on achieving by themselves, not cheating and doing it with other people. Um, and once they have what they need, they don't they wouldn't risk breaking it up for somebody else. So they've been taught that. So If they don't change, then often I go up and speak directly to them. The way you've put your square together is making it impossible for everybody else. You need to break your square up in order to work with the team to make 5 squares. So I think that's one of the biggest values of the Broken Squares, is to help people who have certain kind of school smarts realize that those smarts often is the thing that gets in the way of the community. However, if you spend too much time there, you elevate that school anxiety. And so sometimes I will forfeit that. I will give up that goal for taking care of the whole group. So I'm trying to feel the whole group and sense the whole group. And if everybody's vision is closing down, if the anxiety is going up, I'm like, okay, everybody stop, set your pieces down, stop. Everybody freeze. Okay, everybody look at me. Breathe. Let's do a grounding. Breathe. Look at your core self. Look at your friends. Okay? I really want you to go very, very slow. And as you're doing this, don't look down. Look at your friends. Smile and think, I'm going to do this differently. I'm not going to approach this task by myself. It's not cheating to do it with other people. I just have to pay attention to what other people need, and I have to give my pieces away. And I have to be working on a square in front of me, but also in front of everyone else. So I'm working on 5 squares. And every time I lose track of that, take a big breath, look at your friends and say, yes, okay, focus, 5 squares. Yes, and work together to make 5 squares. And if the stress goes up, you can give some or all of, just hand your pieces. It's okay. Take a break, look at your core self, find the core self of your friends and connect with your friends, and then wait with curiosity to see what happens. Okay, so we're going to go back now and do it again, but do it slowly and try to change. Notice the patterns that come up in you. Notice how you need to ground yourself and get your vision up. Don't go down. And try to see if you can change the way you're thinking and behaving while you do this. Okay, go. Yay! This group over here is done. Okay, shh. They're still working. So let's keep it quiet. And I give them a moment. So tips to facilitators. I give them a moment to enjoy their success. But if the other group's going to take a while, I go over and I say, can we mix these up? They'll be hesitant at first, but if anybody gives me permission, I mix them up, push different pieces to, 3 pieces or so to each person and say, try it again. And they usually are very excited about that. So that works well and it keeps them occupied while the other groups finish. Okay, when everyone has finished at least once, then we say, great, thank you. Let's just leave the pieces there for a moment and kind of pull back and sit in a circle. So what was that like? What do you think is the learning for us as a people, as a culture? What are the implications for our public life? Mm-hmm. So tips to facilitators, you want 2 or 3 participants to speak first before a facilitator speaks. But as a facilitator, I want to bring up in the whole group, if no participant has, is that how do you see this in your day-to-day life? Do you see people, the way we put our houses together is making it impossible for everyone else? We need to redesign the way we put our squares together, our homes and our lives together, and do it in a way that everyone can have a home and a full life. And that's a human design problem. And so we've been trained to just focus, as soon as I get my square together, I'm going to freeze that square and then go try to help people out there because the problem's out there, when actually it's the way I put my life together that's making it impossible for everybody else. That is the most incredible lesson of broken squares. Um, One time I had an experience where a group was standing up from their broken squares, and one of the participants said, well, at least we weren't allowed to speak, and nobody could just take over. There was actually a longtime facilitator in her group who hated broken squares because she felt it was an activity where people just weren't allowed to communicate, and you said afterwards, if we could talk, we could have done that easily. And she realized because somebody would have taken over and just done it for everybody. So that was a very dramatic lesson, and I kind of remember that sometimes. I think that's a helpful idea to help people with also. And of course, any of you facilitators may have your key learnings that you've gotten out of broken squares. We don't, as facilitators, we don't share all of our insights in the debriefing, but we do make sure that the key ones come up, the ones either that are really central to the work of AVP or ones that you sense would be really useful to the group. And after you do the group debriefing, go into groups of 2 or 3 to talk about what you learned and how it felt, and then go take some notes in your journal.